and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Barbie, because today we are going to do a book for every Barbie. I need some help from my librarian friends.
We're here, Barbie.
All right, Barbie, we're here for you. I'm Jill, if you remember.
And I'm Julie. We're Barbie's friends at the library today. So, Jill, what's your first pick in a book for every Barbie?
So this is from Midlife Barbie, which I don't know if she exists. And it might be the whole problem with Barbie that she doesn't exist, but that's my first pick. Midlife Bites. Anyone else just falling apart, or is it just me? By Jen Mann. Jen Mann had what appeared to be the perfect life, a successful career as a best-selling author and an award-winning blogger, a devoted husband, and teenage kids who weren't total jerks, in a badass minivan. So imagine her surprise when at 47 years old, a midlife crisis kicked her straight in the lady bits. In an attempt to deal with the resulting range of emotions and physical changes in midlife, Mann posted a completely honest, now viral post. Anyone else falling apart, or is it just me? The response was instantaneous and overwhelming. Women from all over the country flooded the comics section, glad to see they weren't the only ones experienced this feeling of isolation and dissatisfaction. It was the beginning of a movement. Mann shares her own story as well as advice and wisdom from the online community she built. Please note, this is not your mother's midlife crisis. Mann tackles everything that bites about midlife, and nothing is off limits. Subjects include raging hormones, sex after 40, finding your purpose, learning to make new friends, yes, even as a grown-up, moving out of your comfort zone, having conversations that count, no more small talk, and how to deal with rogue chin hairs and other nuisances. This no BS collection of essays will help you start a conversation and keep it going, because as women, we have the right to be happy, fulfilled, and whole no matter what stage of life. Midlife Bites.
Midlife Bites. And we know Barbie had a lot of careers throughout all her years. I know one of my Barbie outfits was the American Airlines stewardess outfit. But this one's for President Barbie.
President.
And this is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McEaston, published in 2019. First son, Alex Claremont Diaz, is the closest thing to a prince this side of the Atlantic. With his intrepid sister and the Veep's genius granddaughter, they're the White House trio, a beautiful millennial marketing strategy for his mother, President Ellen Claremont. International socialite duties do have downsides, namely when photos of a confrontation with his longtime nemesis Prince Henry at a royal wedding leak to the tabloids and threaten American-British relations. The plan for damage control, staging a fake friendship between the first son and the prince. As President Claremont kicks off her re-election bid, Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret relationship with Henry that could derail the campaign and upend two nations. What is worth the sacrifice? How do you do all the good you can do? And most importantly, how will history remember you? So Red, White, and Royal Blue for President Barbie.
Nice. My next one is for Burned Out Barbie, or the Barbie who's sick of her job. Called The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella. Sasha has had it. She cannot bring herself to respond to another inane, urgent, but obviously not at all urgent, email or participate in the corporate employee joyfulness program. She hasn't seen her friends in months. Sex seems like a lot of effort. Even cooking dinner takes far too much planning. Sasha has hit a wall. Armed with good intentions to drink kale smoothies, try yoga, and find peace, she heads to a seaside resort she loved as a child. But it's the off-season, the hotel is in dilapidated shambles, and she has to share the beach with the only other grumpy guy named Finn, who seems to be as stressed as Sasha. How can she commune with nature when he's sitting on her favorite rock, watching her? No, nor can they agree on how to best alleviate their burnout, manifesting wild swimming, drinking whiskey, getting pizza delivered to the beach. When curious messages seemingly addressed to Sasha and Finn begin to appear on the beach, the two are forced to talk about everything. How did they get so burned out? Can either of them remember something they used to love? In question they try to fail to ignore. What does the energy between them, flaring even in the face of their bone-deep exhaustion, signify? So, The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella.
My next pick, I have an audiobook form, and this one, Vacuum in the Dark by Jean Began, I think how you pronounce her name. This was published in 2019, and I have to say, Weird Barbie from the movie, Kate McKinnon, this one's for you. So this is from the Whiting Award-winning author of Pretend I'm Dead and one of the most exhilarating new voices in fiction. Mona is 26 and cleans houses for a living in Taos, New Mexico. She moved there mostly because of a bad boyfriend, a junkie named Mr. Disgusting. Long story, and her efforts to restart her life since haven't exactly gone as planned. For one thing, she's got another bad boyfriend. This one she calls Dark, and he happens to be married to one of Mona's clients. He also might be a little unstable. Dark and his wife aren't the only complicated clients on Mona's roster either. There's also the Hungarian artist couple, who, with her addiction to painkillers and his lingering stares, reminds Mona of troubling aspects of her childhood and some of the underlying reasons her life had to be restarted in the first place. As she tries to get over the heartache of her affair and the older pains of her youth, Mona winds up on an eccentric, moving journey of self-discovery that takes her back to her beginnings, where she attempts to unlock the key to having a sense of home in the future. The only problems are Dark and her past. Neither is so easy to get rid of. So, check out Vacuum in the Dark, maybe for those quirky, weird Barbies.
So my next one is for Podcast Barbie. Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. The instant New York Times USA Today bestseller by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, the voices behind the hit podcast My Favorite Murder, is now available as a book. So these are podcast ladies that have made a book. Sharing never-before-heard stories ranging from their struggles with depression, eating disorders, and addiction, Karen and Georgia irreverently recount their biggest mistakes and deepest fears, reflecting on the formative life events that shaped them to two of the most followed voices in the nation. In Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered, Karen and Georgia focus on the importance of self-advocating and valuing personal safety over being nice or helpful. They delve into their own pasts, true crime stories, and beyond to discuss meaningful cultural and societal issues with fierce empathy and unapologetic frankness. So if you want to learn how not to get murdered, this is the book for you.
Podcast Barbie. My next pick is, all you fans of Dr. Barbie may enjoy this one. This is Severance by Ling Ma, published in 2018. Candace Chen, a millennial drone self-sequestered in a Manhattan office tower, is devoted to her routine. So she barely notices when a plague of biblical proportions sweeps New York. Then Shen fever spreads. Families flee. Companies stop operations. The subways squeak to a halt. Soon entirely alone, still unfevered, she photographs the eerie, abandoned city as the anonymous blogger NY Ghost. Candace won't be able to make it on her own forever, though. Enter a group of survivors led by the power-hungry IT tech Bob. They're traveling to a place called the Facility, where Bob promises they will have everything they need to start society anew. But Candace is carrying a secret she knows Bob will exploit. Should she escape from her rescuers? A send-up and takedown of the rituals, routines, and missed opportunities of contemporary life. This book is a quirky, coming-of-adulthood tale and satire. So, check out Severance. I like all my pink covers this week.
Yeah, it's full of pink. So my next one is for Barbie, whose life is not going as planned or doesn't know exactly what she wants to do about Ken. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Fern Brookbanks has wasted far too much time of her adult life thinking about Will Baxter. She spent just 24 hours in her early 20s with the aggravatingly attractive, idealistic artist in a chance encounter that spiraled into a day-long adventure in Toronto. The timing was wrong, but their connection was undeniable. They shared every secret, every dream, and made a pact to meet 1 year later. Fern showed up. Will didn't. At 32, Fern's life doesn't look how she once imagined it would. Instead of living in the city, Fern's back home running her mother's Muskoka lakeside resort, something she vowed never to do. The place is in disarray, her ex-boyfriend's in the manager, and Fern doesn't know where to begin. She needs a plan, a lifeline. To her surprise, it comes in the form of Will, who arrives 9 years too late, with a suitcase in tow and an offer to help on his lips. Will may be the only person who understands what Fern's going through, but how could she possibly trust this expensive suit-wearing mirage who seems nothing like the young man she met all these years ago? Will is hiding something, and Fern's not sure she wants to know what it is. But 10 years ago, Will Baxter rescued Fern. Can she do the same for him? Meet Me at the Lake.
My next pick, we've done several of her books in the past. Emily Henry, A Happy Place, published last year in 2023. This pink-covered book is pretty much for any Barbie. Harriet and Win have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 6 months ago and still haven't told their best friends, which is how they find themselves sharing the largest bedroom at the main cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual respite from the world, where for one vibrant blue week they leave behind their daily lives, have copious amounts of cheese, wine, and seafood, and soak up the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Win are lying through their teeth while trying not to notice how desperately they still want each other. Because the cottage is for sale and this is the last week they'll all have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friends' hearts, and so they'll play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Win will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. It's a flawless plan, if you look at it from a great distance and through a pair of sunscreen-smeared sunglasses. After years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those who know you best? Check out Happy Place by Emily Henry.
I read that. It is very fun thinking about your happy
Can you
place.
picture Barbie, Midge, Ken, Alan, all of them hanging out at the cottage?
With outfit changes. So my next pick is A Lady's Guide to Selling Out. I thought this kind of looked like Barbie a little bit, by Sally Franson. Book-loving Barbie with her first job. This is for you. Casey Pendergrass is losing her way. Once a book-loving English major, Casey lands a job at a top ad agency that highly values her ability to tell a good story. Her best friend thinks she's a sellout, but Casey tells herself she's just paying the bills, and she can't help that she has champagne taste. When her hard-to-please boss assigns her to a top-secret campaign that pairs literary authors with corporations hungry for upmarket cachet, Cassie is both excited and skeptical. But as she crisscrosses America, wooing her former idols, she's shocked at how quickly they compromise their integrity. A short story writer leaves academia to craft campaigns for a plus-size clothing chain. A reclusive nature writer signs away her life's work to a manufacturer of granola bars. When she falls in love with one of her authors, Casey can no longer ignore her own nagging doubts about the human cost of her success. By the time the year's biggest book festival rolls around Las Vegas, it will take every ounce of Casey's moxie to undo the damage and hopefully save her soul. Told in an unforgettable voice with razor-sharp observations about everything from feminism to pop culture to social media, Lady's Guide to Selling Out is the story of a young woman untangling the contradictions of our era and trying to escape the rat race by any means necessary. So, Lady's Guide to Selling Out.
My next pick is The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. This was published in 2019. And Diplomat Barbie, this one's for you. It's arguably the most celebrated and revered writer of our time. She now gives us a new nonfiction collection, a rich gathering of Toni Morrison's essays, speeches, and meditations on society, culture, and art, spanning 4 decades. This book is brimming with all the elegance of mind and style, the literary prowess and moral compass that are Toni Morrison's hallmark. It is divided into 3 parts. The first is introduced by a powerful prayer for the dead of 9/11, the second by a searching meditation on Martin Luther King Jr., and the last by a heart-wrenching eulogy for James Baldwin. In the writings and speeches included here, Toni Morrison takes us on contested social issues, the foreigner, female empowerment, the press, money, Black matters, and human rights. She looks at enduring matters of culture, the role of the artist in society, the literary imagination, the Afro-American presence in American literature, and her Nobel lecture, The Power of Language Itself. So who doesn't like the writings of Toni Morrison? So here, too, is a piercing commentary on her own work, including The Bluest Eye, Sula, Tar Baby, Jazz, Beloved, and Paradise, and that of others, among them painter and ecologist Romare Bearden, author Toni Cade Bambara, and theater director Peter Sellers. In all, this book is a luminous and essential addition to Toni Morrison's collection. So you should all be familiar with Toni Morrison.
Nice. Well, we hope to help you find something to read for whatever Barbie you have in your life.
So Barbie and her little sister Skipper, thank you for joining us today. They're off to explore the town around Kimberly today. Thank you for watching our videos. You can find us on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, on our Kimberly Public Library website. Tell us what your Barbie likes to read, or show us a picture of your old Barbie if you have one. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye.